Welcome to Tag Talk. I'm Kiley. That's Haley. That's Gangrel. And we are the Brood. Can I take these glasses off now? Woo! Hi, guys. Fancy seeing you here.
I'm sweating.
I'm so sweaty. I'm in long sleeves. It's 90 degrees outside. I have a very heavy wig. But it's Halloween. We got our special Halloween setups. Haley made this beautiful Halloween background. And we're dressed up as the Brood on Edge's birthday.
Yes.
You didn't know what today. I don't know. I'm Christian. Haley is Edge, and the old man behind Haley volunteered to be Gangrel. So we're the Brood.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling as Edge?
I'm feeling great. You know, this wig was giving me some issues before we went live, and this like muscle suit is so much.
Haley's wearing a full suit of muscles. I'm not, because Christian's a little leaner. But I got my ruffled shirt, all like Fabio style.
Oh.
Edge just turned on Gangrel. We got our. We're not gonna wear the glasses the whole time though, because to be honest, they give me a headache. But listen,
this shot is going crazy right now.
We one-upped ourselves from last year. If you were watching last year, I was both of the Young Bucks, and Haley was Hangman Page, and it was pretty incredible. We one-upped ourselves this year. I went a little bit more minimalistic with my background this year. Still Halloween vibes. Haley, was the old man here last year?
He was. He had his Hangman Ranch shirt on last year.
Return of the Old Man.
You know, I really wanted to go all out with my costume, so I'm like in full Edge cosplay. You guys can't see my pants, but I literally have his tights on. Oh my god, listen, fell off again.
We've been planning this since August.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. We really wanted to do better than we did last year. Not that last year was bad, but like this is pretty incredible. This is the only time you'll see me in a wig, and probably the only time Haley will ever wear that muscle suit.
I'm sweating so bad.
It is so hot and sweaty right now. I have a salt lamp for ambiance, so does Haley. Mm-hmm. And this wig is going to be the death of me. But we're going to talk wrestling as the Brood. It's going to be a great time. Haley, we've gotten some super chats. So
I know I was just about to get there. We have a super chat from Ryan. Excuse me, I'm like dying of thirst right now. Ryan, where does the ghost go on vacation? Malibu.
I love that implies that Malibu, California is home to millions and millions of vacationing ghosts. If you're in Malibu. That's a Malibu vibe.
Maybe I don't know. You know
okay. Shout out to the Malibu ghosts.
We also have a super chat from Jackie. Super chat for blowing my mind with these costumes. Better than I could have ever hoped for. Haley is Jack. Look at
when Haley told me that she was getting that.
I swear they're there.
Well, you had to, because
he's shirtless, and I was like, I can't show up to Tag Talk without a shirt on. Like, I'm not trying to get the channel banned. So I got a tank top, but I was like, I look like goth Trish Stratus, so I had to get the muscle suit.
I lucked out. Christian just has this like roughly vampire shirt, and so does Gangrel. So me and the old man matching twinsies. This wig is gonna annoy me to death, but I do it for you guys because I love Tag Talk. Listen, should we just get into it?
Yeah, I guess.
If you want your question, your comment, your statement right on air, make sure to submit a super chat. Later on in the show, we're going to be talking about AEW's tag division. So that will be our scary portion of the Halloween episode.
Very scary.
But we're going to start it off a little bit softer, a little bit nicer. And we're going to talk about Chelsea and Piper and Chelsea Green being absolutely incredible. Also, Jace, before we do that, Jason in the chat says, you should have found a gothic turtleneck, Kiley. I did think about doing turtleneck Christian, but the Brood vibe, it's just Halloween vibes. he doesn't scream Halloween to me yet. He could start talking to people's dead dads, and then he will. But as of right now, the Brood. I was gonna also do like blood and stuff, but I didn't know if we would get demonetized and kicked off of YouTube, so we didn't do any blood. I did do red lipstick though. That's your blood. Anyway, back to wrestling. Chelsea and Piper. Haley, thoughts?
Yes. So first of all, I absolutely love Chelsea. I think we've talked about Chelsea and Piper like maybe one other time on the show. I really love Chelsea though, and I love what she's been doing with the tag titles, since Sonya unfortunately got injured. She's really kind of taken a new approach to it. And I don't know, I love it. I love the way she utilizes social media to, get the act over, especially like this beef with Natalia that's going on right now and like the whole like Cardona thing. Like I absolutely love it. I think Chelsea is incredible. She's, in my opinion, one of the best re-signings that WWE has made. And I'm so excited that her and Piper are finally defending these titles in NXT. I'm unsure about if they're going to win or lose. But I feel like because it's their first defense, like, can they really afford to lose? But I would also love to see Thea Hale and JC win. I think that would be cool. But
what do you think about the state of women's tag teams in WWE specifically? Because for the last like few months, I think we've been on Tag Talk and we've said that the women's tag division is really suffering. There's not a lot of talent. There's not a lot of like thought and effort put into it. Do you think this is a turning point?
I want to say yes. I feel like especially with the effort that's been kind of put into NXT recently, I feel like we see a ton of women on screen over there, tons of matches. So I want to say yes, especially with, like I said, the way that Chelsea has been, able to take an unfortunate circumstance and really, I guess, make lemonade out of lemons. I don't know. I hope so. I think we need more women's tag teams, and I think we can do it, and I think WWE can do it. It's just a matter of will they? Will they put the effort in?
That's the big question. I also think Piper has been doing a lot better. I think both Chelsea and Piper were casualties of like the Vince McMahon WWE in different ways, but I think very much so they kind of got dug into a hole that they're like slowly crawling out of. But I really do enjoy them, and I think Piper especially has redemption is not the right word because Piper did not need to redeem herself in any way.
Listen, that whole dewdrop like thing though was
and but then like that wasn't her doing.
No, and she was such a good sport about it. Like it wasn't my favorite, but I'm happy that she got rebranded as herself again.
She's actually Piper, which I think she should have been the whole time. I wasn't a dewdrop hater, but I hated the name Dewdrop, and I hated sort of everything that came with it, all the booking decisions that were made. But yeah, I'm really happy about this. Whether it lasts, I don't know. I think the rest of the women's division, there's been some really questionable choices made that I'm not sure I vibe with entirely. But I mean, if anybody's going to make it happen, it's Chelsea. Whether that's this women's tag division or whether it's Chelsea just trying to weather the storm as a singles competitor, whatever it is, I think this generation of wrestlers who use social media like this, like Chelsea, like the Young Bucks, like Matt Cardona, I think that they're like the cream that rises to the top. Social media and how you present yourself outside of programming now is just as important as how you are in the ring and in promos and all that kind of stuff, because fans are just so plugged in. They know everything about your life. They see your content, whatever you make. And Chelsea's not the only one like this. I think Natty is another one who social media has become so integral to her brand and her getting a message across that she wants. Training people as sort of the veteran that she is, and also her like personal life as just natty. I think social media could be great. Whether WWE cares about people who are great at social media, I don't know. I think AEW is the same way. I think there's people like Nyla Rose in AEW who are really, really great on social media and have a huge following on social media. And that doesn't necessarily translate to AEW programming. I think this is kind of the same way. Haley, are the muscles bothering you?
No, I'm just trying to find like a comfortable way to sit, and right now it's like pushing this up.
They're so big. You're like more jacked than Edge.
I know, and I was trying to find one that was like not like super like padded. So I was like, he's not like big and like muscly, but like
I love it. I really do. It's kind of incredible.
But back to the social media thing. I actually feel like it's really benefited Chelsea too. Because I feel like they kind of take note of the response that she gets, and because before I feel like she wasn't getting nearly as much TV time as she was, whether it's wrestling or in backstage promos or whatever. But I feel like that's really kind of upped itself recently, and I feel like we said, social media is a big part of that.
I 100% agree. Jason in the chat says, am I the only one who's feeling off seeing Kiley with this hair color wig? I'm feeling off. I don't recognize myself. It's driving me crazy.
She sent me a picture earlier, and she was like, "It's way longer than I thought it was."
It really, like, I guess this is just slightly longer than Christian's hair was back then, but it's a lot longer than I'm used to. I normally keep my hair kind of short, so this is kind of a lot for me. Maria Graciela says they look more like breast implants than muscles.
I swear.
It's the angle, I think. Haley has some really good pictures that she's gonna post after the show. And then I'll take some
spoil it, so I figured I'd save it.
We wanted to keep y'all guessing. We wanted to save our pop, you know.
Wait, that's kind of better.
It's good. Can you flex? Do like a bicep flex?
Hold on, wait.
Give us one of these.
The muscle, but like they're like.
Oh, they
like the top is too big. So like, but like, you see.
It's giving. I almost said something horrible. I'll say that. I'll save that. We knew this was gonna be chaos. We've been on. We were in the studio for like 30 minutes before we went live, just trying to get our backgrounds right, trying to get like our costumes right. It's been a long time coming, so I hope you guys are grateful.
Yes.
Yes, this is Brood, Edge, and Christian, and Gangrel. Give him his flowers. Look at him over there.
Look, I put a lot of effort into that.
Haley, listen, he was in the attic, and Haley wasn't going to go get him. And I was like, no, we need him.
We need him. Not like going into my creaky, nasty attic, but I did it just for Tag Talk.
Anything for Tag Talk, anything for you guys. Should we get to the scary part of this episode?
Yeah.
Spooky, scary.
Very spooky. Very spooky.
AEW's tag division. What the heck? That's my question.
That should have been the title of this episode.
So the Young Bucks won that like challenge anytime for the tag title
number
thing.
One contenders thing.
Yeah. And then they haven't acknowledged it. They haven't done anything with it. They're doing like 6-man stuff with Hangman, which is fun and good and great. But meanwhile, the tag champs, Ricky Starks and Big Bill, are defending against FTR. And now they're embroiled in some weird like multi-team faction war with like every team on Collision. So it's like LFI and it's House of Black and it's what is going on?
Listen. And I remember, when was this? Like August, when we were like, like they really need the Young Bucks back in the tag division. We were so excited that they were coming back, and it was an opportunity to help a lot of the younger teams that they have, kind of get time and get reps in the ring and whatever. I'm so confused now because yes, so they re-entered the tag division for like a minute, and so now they're doing ROH 6-man stuff with Hangman, like you said. So now they're tied up in that, and like the trios division is a mess. The tag division is a mess. Like, what are we doing? The only thing that isn't a mess is the singles division. And half of the men in the singles division right now are tied up with MJF.
Listen, I do enjoy this MJF. Everybody's gunning for him, and he's, for like the first time ever, he's alone but doesn't want to be. Like, he wants Adam Cole to be there. So I like that story because I've been saying for years that I think MJF needs like something, character development somehow. So I like that. But the Young Bucks not doing more to be like they should be strutting around like, oh, we could come for you anytime.
Right.
Like, we could come get you. Like, we're the Young Bucks. We're the best ever. And they won that match. And then it's like, it's almost like they think that it's not a big deal.
Right.
They're just kind of like, yeah, we're here. And like Ricky Starks and Big Bill, I'm warming up to them being champions because I do think it's a good opportunity for them both. I don't know this whole situation where the Young Bucks lose at Wembley, and then FTR loses to Ricky Starks and Big Bill, and then it's like the Young Bucks win that thing, and somehow like it's just so out of line that Young Bucks FTR cannot be possible.
Sorry, I got so distracted by the chat while you were talking.
Who said something?
I looked at myself and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Should I put my glasses back on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see absolutely anything, so. But yeah, and I don't know that I necessarily wanted to see FTR versus the Young Bucks again, like, so soon after we just saw it. So I was looking forward to, getting a fresh match up. I cannot speak today, with Ricky and Big Bill. But like, now that's maybe happening, maybe not happening. I don't know.
And I'm happy that the House of Black is back. And I'm happy that LFI is finally doing something that isn't just vignettes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm enjoying the Christian stuff with Nick Wayne and everything going on there with Edge. And like, I like the factions in AEW. And the weirdest thing is I like most of the factions, but I don't like really what any of them are doing. Like the Acclaimed and MJF, that's for a specific subset of AEW fans who know what that story is, who are aware of like the years of Max Caster like flirting with MJF and doing the whole thing. But I mean, I don't think it needs this many weeks of like dedicated television to it. It's fun, but MJF has Hobbs, Wardlow, like a million people gunning for him, and he's not the only thing he's really. I mean, he did the Kenny Omega match, which was excellent, by the way. All of you should go watch that Kenny Omega match. But he's not like engaging with the Acclaimed, and they're just kind of the Acclaimed are just following him around, and they're not doing anything but that.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Ric Flair is in AEW now. Thank you for the reminder.
Listen, okay. So I want to say this was like 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was like last week. I don't know. I have no concept of time. Regardless, Ric Flair had said something about like wanting like one last match or whatever. And then when Sting announced that he was retiring Revolution, it popped back into my head. And I was like, no way is Ric Flair going to show up in this company and do this. And I said that in my head. And then I saw him come out and I was like, I hate my life.
So they built it up. Like Tony Khan has a present for Sting. They really built it up. And we get to the show. And he's out there with Tony Schiavone and Darby Allin. And his surprise is Ric Flair. Which was I surprised, yes, but not in a good way.
No.
It was like...
I wanted to turn my internet off. Not even my TV, not my computer, my entire internet.
Ric Flair has no business being in AEW. And it's for me, it's not even really an age thing because I feel like there are wrestlers who get older and acknowledge they're getting older and they do other things and they can still wrestle a certain way and it's fine. Like, age of wrestlers doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is, will they die in the ring and are they a good person?
Yeah, from a moral standpoint, I'm like, I don't understand, and especially after all of the talk that Tony was doing on Twitter a few weeks ago, to bring Ric Flair in seems a little.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It really doesn't. Especially because now you have Sting on his retirement tour, and now Darby is like third wheel to the Ric Flair Sting love fest. And Darby is like one of AEW's biggest homegrown stars. So I don't really understand the logic here, especially because it seems like Ric Flair is going to stick around.
And he said that, and I was like, please don't.
Till what was it, like March?
Yeah, he said, if you'll let me, I would like to stick around until March.
To me, and like, I understand if you're a fan of Ric Flair because he's done a lot of good for wrestling in terms of like the feuds he's had and all kind of stuff, but he's also a garbage person. One of the best things he's done is, raising his daughter Charlotte Flair, who is much better in a lot of ways. But I don't know. I feel like Ric Flair being there taints Sting's retirement run for me. Like, it poisons it.
I agree. Sorry, I saw we got a super chat, so I want to read it before we continue. I think it's from Doc, yeah. Did Rick come with a gift receipt? I hope so.
All this money that they're probably paying Ric Flair to be there. And genuinely, Ric Flair will always have fans. Just like Vince McMahon will always have fans. And Tony Khan will always have fans. And it's just, when you're a major personality, you'll just always have fans. It's just, when you're controversial, you'll always have fans. It's just how it is. But I'm not sure how many AEW fans actually care that Ric Flair is going to be there for a long time. Like, a one-time pop is one thing. But, like, do people really care?
And this is a really good point. Ryan said, I hate to give her credit, but Kate said it best. Even if you can separate the work from the worker, the work sucks now. And yeah. I agree. I feel like his one last match was just, it wasn't great. Like, honestly, he should have stayed retired. That match that he had with Shawn was more than perfect, a perfect send-off. He didn't need to come back and taint it. He really did not. And I feel like for him, he's somebody that just, like, doesn't know how or when to, like, turn it off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, so.
Yeah. Well, there's certain wrestlers who they wrestle for so long. When they're old and they retire, they don't know how to live without it.
It's like a lonely feeling.
Yeah, and some wrestlers are able to adapt. Like, some become coaches or trainers or managers and they adapt. But there's some who they just crave being their prime again. And it's sad. But Ric Flair has no business being in a ring. Whether he's going to do anything in AEW, I don't know. But he has no business being there. He has no business being attached to Sting when Sting is like a major babyface for AEW. And now you bring in Ric Flair, which their history, I know it. You don't need to lecture me on it. People were mansplaining it to everybody on Twitter a few days ago. We get it. There's history. But Sting could have had a really great retirement tour, running it down with, all the people he's wanted to wrestle. You could there's other people that Sting has been involved with that are not this controversial, and it would have been fine. But
and
now
ending it with Darby would have been perfect.
Yeah, and now you have Ric Flair here, who, let's be honest, he picked up that microphone and it was not great.
Oof. Listen, but you want to know what was great? Christian.
Listen, I think I might have tweeted it. I might have texted it to Haley. I don't remember. But I was literally like, oh, the savior is here to save this. Like, he is really going to save us from this Ric Flair promo. And he did.
That pacemaker comment is still living in my head rent free. Like, he was unloading, and I love him for it.
Christian, this is like the best run of Christian's career, hands down. Not even the Brood tops it. And I love that despite being so despicable and saying awful, horrendous things, fans are still excited to see him. And I love that in a situation where Ric Flair and Sting are reuniting in the ring, people are still like, oh, thank God it's Christian.
Yes.
I was great in that segment, Jason. I killed it.
And, like, do you remember a couple weeks ago, or it was when Sting was announcing that he would be retiring, and he brought up Ric Flair and the whole crowd booed. And then a week later, they bring it to the company.
And I just don't understand it because, like, I don't think you get much value out of Ric Flair.
No.
There's certain legends that you can bring back, and they bring a lot, like Sting. They bring a lot because Sting can still do stuff. Sting is still excellent on the mic. He still has a good head on his shoulders, and he's freaking Sting. So bringing him to AEW was a home run. But Ric Flair, like, I struggle, besides, like, the history with Sting, I struggle to see what he, like, brings to the table. Like, what is he bringing that's worth overlooking all the horrific things he's done in the past? I don't get it. I really don't.
And are we gonna get, like, tag stuff with Andrade? Because I can't do it.
If they need to keep Andrade far away from this little situation they have. Keep him over there. Listen, if this weird collision faction war is what it takes to keep Andrade away from Ric Flair, I'm here for it. I'll let you do anything but that. It's just so unlike Tony Khan to bring someone in with no clear reason. Like, every legend that he's brought in, I've understood why they're there. Like, JR, despite, like, you know, his issues and the issues people have with him, I know why JR's there. I know why Sting is there. I know why Arn Anderson is there. I know why Tully was there. Like, Ric Flair, though, what is he bringing? He's not going to manage anybody because he can't cut a promo anymore. His brain's not there. Like, he's just... to satisfy Ric Flair and, like, make him feel better about himself, I don't know. I really don't. But this segment was not good until Christian came in. And Christian is really carrying a lot of weight for AEW right now, especially with Moxley still being kind of on the shelf. Kenny Omega floating, doing God knows what, wrestling MJF, and then getting distracted by Don Callis for the 50th time in his life. It's like, I don't understand. I'm so confused. It's so scary to think about AEW. So many things that are happening right now, and no pun intended, happy Halloween. Like, they're digging their grave in a lot of ways.
And you know what bothers me more? And we say it all the time, and I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to say it until something changes. Mm-hmm. Because I saw somebody had put together numbers for all of the like matches and like segments that women were featured in on AEW and NXT and stuff this week. AEW didn't even have 30 minutes total across all shows. And it's like, instead of Ric Flair being there, like, you know, we could have another women's match. And, like, obviously that wasn't this week, but still my point stands.
Yeah.
But there are other things that we could be doing.
Yeah, Chris in the chat mentions Sky Blue joining the House of Black. I'm interested in the Sky Blue Willow story of Sky Blue turning dark and because of Julia. I'm interested in that. I wish it got more good TV time in a good time slot where this other Ric Flair stuff is happening. And then we saw Abaddon back. I was happy to see Abaddon back. I love Abaddon.
And I wish that they would be featured more on AEW than just at Halloween time.
I wonder if they were injured or something else was going on. I don't really know. But Abaddon was back, which it was a fun match. I was happy to see them. Shida is doing good things as champion, despite what people are saying on Twitter. Shida is a great champion, a great representative of AEW. Of course, Toni Storm is doing incredible things and getting all the time that she deserves because
Peach stuff.
I love this Toni Storm character. But the tag division is a train wreck. No clue what's happening there. Like, Ricky Starks and Big Bill don't have any direction for Full Gear. Unless it's the Young Bucks and they're going to last minute swoop in and it's going to be so annoying and really just I'm going to lose my mind.
We're 2 weeks out from Full Gear now. And the Young Bucks are a team that, like, you know, we don't usually get this a lot. Like, we usually get substantial stories being built. And, like, obviously, it is kind of a built-in story. Like, they've won the number 1 contenders match. But still, like, it doesn't feel like it when they're doing, you know, 6-man stuff with Hangman instead. And they're kind of, like, on their own island.
Yeah.
Instead of doing tag team stuff.
And I understand that and people were talking about it on Twitter. They're like, well, the story is that they could challenge when and whenever, wherever they want. So, like, the story is built in. And sure, I get it. There's something really fun about a Money in the Bank style run-in. But the Young Bucks have not acknowledged that they have this, you know, get out of jail free card. Seems like they don't care. It seems like AEW doesn't care. It seems like almost the AEW wants us to forget that happened. So it's not that the Young Bucks are swooping in Money in the Bank style at Full Gear, you know, after Ricky and Bill squash someone. Like, that would be fine, I guess. But it's the fact that you position the Young Bucks to be these, like, fearful, like, challengers who overcame the odds, won the stupid match, and now they're like, oh, we just wanted to win so that we could prove we could?
Right.
Is that what the story is? I don't get it. I really don't. And I like the Hung Bucks as the ROH 6-man champs because I think that's a lot of fun. What I don't love is that AEW introduced this thing to us and then threw us a curveball with the FTR loss, which was fine. But now we are in a position where we're almost at a pay-per-view and the tag division doesn't have, like, a clear direction. The trios doesn't have a clear direction. The world champion has a match, but he has like 50 other challengers already lined up. The women's world title has
and it was announced that he's doing on the, like, pre-show thing, he has, like, a tag match.
Oh yeah, he's also ROH tag team champions, defending it on his own because his co-tag champ is injured. And they're just going to keep feeding MJF tag teams, I guess.
I hope that he gets a partner. They cannot afford to squash.
It needs to be Roddy.
Yeah, they can't afford to, like, do that to the Guns. They just can't.
Like, Roderick Strong should have wrestled with MJF first against the Righteous. There's no reason why you spent so long building up the Righteous just to feed them to MJF like that. And secondly, you cannot just keep MJF winning world title matches, winning tag matches on his own, and he's just going to run through 2 separate divisions for funsies?
Yeah.
Like, what's the end goal? Like, I really don't see the end goal.
And I think that's another thing. I wanted to talk about this, what was it, last week? And then a whole lot of stuff happened last week, you guys, and we just ended up not filming. I'm so sorry. But I wanted to talk about kind of, like, the ROH integration in AEW and, you know, because I feel like it's not something that we talk about a lot. And it's something that I feel like angers the both of us. Because, I don't know, I just feel like, especially with the Hung Bucks, like, I really wanted them to win the 6-man championships. But then it's like, they're also in the AEW Tag Team division. And so, like, they can't split their time. They're not defending the 6-man titles, really, unless it's on AEW television. They're, like, it just, I don't like that ROH feels the way it feels.
100%. I just want to address, a couple people in the chat have said that it does say MJF will have a mystery partner. I know, but MJF has been adamant that he doesn't want a partner. That's what I'm getting at. That he doesn't want a team with anybody. They could force him to team with someone, but I mean,
And that's a different thing.
That's a different thing. I don't like the idea that MJF has the option to defend the titles on his own. And then also, yeah, not doing any of this on Ring of Honor TV sucks. Ring of Honor TV, the highlight of it is Athena.
She's carrying Honor Club.
The whole show. The rest of it is kind of hot garbage, if we're being honest. And then Athena doesn't get to cross over into AEW, but the rest of ROH does, and it's just AEW.
And Billy Starks too, like that whole thing. Like I don't know.
I really don't get it because the women's division in Ring of Honor, there's a lot there that I think would do really great on AEW TV. I think Athena, I think Mercedes and Diamante, I think especially Billy Starks, and I don't understand why that is ROH stuff. But the rest can just be AEW stuff. The Hung Bucks can be AEW stuff. MJF can be AEW stuff. Samoa Joe. I mean, we do know why, but it's nonsensical in so many ways. Especially like when people want Athena to be like Women's Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah.
Like Athena's putting on great matches. And ROH, when they first started weekly shows again, it seemed for a while it was going to be its own legitimate entity, its own promotion with its own people and all that stuff. But that's very slowly faded away till now it's just Athena and some other stuff that's happening that's kind of boring. And I don't know why you keep having ROH on Collision or Dynamite when the actual ROH is suffering. I really don't get it.
Right. And I don't know. I'm so over it, and it's just every week I feel like it just angers me more and more. Especially when like half of the champions, like you said, are featured on AEW and they're not defending the titles in Ring of Honor at all. They don't really appear. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it at all.
And I don't know what the future of Ring of Honor is. I mean, AEW's TV streaming is coming up, and there's been like no announcement or hints at what their next deal is. So I don't know if ROH is going to get canned, and maybe that's why. I don't know if they're going to reimagine ROH as like a training ground. I don't really know. But it was really, really fast how it went from its own distinct promotion to what it is now. AEW Light, yeah. I think it kind of reminds me of Dark, when there would be like Dark exclusive storylines that were only on Dark.
And what a slap in the face to Ring of Honor, though.
Yeah.
And, how much that means to not just the fans, but so many people on that roster. Just to see it deteriorate the way it is, it angers me. It really does.
And on one hand, I understand AEW needs somewhere to train people. That's one of the things, like, you're going to start losing more Jade Cargills to WWE if they don't have a place to train. And like training in the ring before a Dynamite or a Collision is not training. Like it's just not a thing. They need reps. So AEW does need an NXT in some ways. And I understand that it's hard now with Collision being there to do all these shows. But Tony Khan can delegate, and ROH can be its own thing, and you can have fun with it. And occasionally you can have the Hung Bucks go to ROH and be champs for a while and clear up a spot in AEW TV and cycle them back. Like WWE is doing that with NXT. And it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And it's like, on one hand, I feel like that's what AEW was trying to do, but backwards. Mm-hmm. They're just bringing like non-human elements of ROH and putting them on humans in AEW and acting like it's the crossover. And it's just, I don't know. And like the tag division in ROH, there's nobody besides MJF. Really. I mean, there was the Righteous, but hello, good night.
Aussie Open was there very briefly, and then
Aussie Open is now, Kyle Fletcher's doing like single stuff, but Aussie Open is on the shelf because of Mark's injury. Who else was in ROH? The Kingdom, they're now AEW, solid AEW. They're mixing it up with the world champion. So I don't know. And the AEW Tag Division is not any better. It really isn't. And like there is really, really fun, good stuff in AEW that makes me watch every week. I really enjoy Kenny Omega. And especially this Kenny Omega that's now trying to like not win titles, but to like help the industry. Like he's explicit that he wants to wrestle young people and really help people have these like great 5-star matches. Which I'm totally here for. I like Takeshita. Don't like the Don Callis family, but I'll accept it for now. I like Sheeta. I like Tony. I like so many things in AW, but it's like we're at a point now where there's so many just issues and weird decisions made that I can't really figure out where the balance is anymore.
I just feel like there isn't a balance.
There isn't. We had a super chat if you want to pull that up.
Oh, I see it.
Will says, I remember how happy we were when Tony got Ring of Honor, but now I don't know what it is now. The only thing good is our great ROH Women's Champion. Exactly.
Everybody was so hyped that he bought it and he was gonna, breathe new life into Ring of Honor, and look at it.
Because Ring of Honor, I don't know if you guys remember, they were done.
Yeah.
They had that final battle, and then it was people are saying, oh, we don't know what the future's like for Ring of Honor, but I mean, most of us concluded Ring of Honor's done. It did not survive the pandemic in the post-Elite era. But Tony saved it, and like for me as a Ring of Honor fan, someone who's watched Ring of Honor for years and years and years, I was super excited because I was like, okay, Tony Khan does wrestling or was doing wrestling in a way that I really enjoyed. And there's a lot of people who are ROH veterans in AEW, so this could be really good. And it was good. And I mean, we got the FTR versus the Briscoe series, which was excellent. We had Athena. We had the rise of Billy Starks. Like, there's so many great things that happened in Ring of Honor. But now it almost seems like there's no effort put into it. That it's just, they're just filling the time. And that's that. I don't really know what the direction is. And I put it down to AWTV. I don't think there's too much AWTV, but I think coupled with, there's Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and now Ring of Honor. I think it's too much.
Yeah, I think it's too much to do alone. And, Tony does have people there that are helping him with things backstage. But I don't know. Like, I feel like at this point, like, he needs somebody to strictly do Ring of Honor if he's going to focus on AEW. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I think even Collision somewhat is losing its unique identity for what it was, which
it's feeling a little bit like I don't know, Rampage, Dynamite, I don't know.
Yeah. Which I was concerned about the brand split to begin with, so I get it. And I like that wrestlers cross between Wednesday and Saturday. But you can't just start a show and be like, this is what Collision is going to be, and then be like, haha, psych. And the ratings for Collision are good. Like, people are enjoying Collision. But there's a lot of people now who have kind of fallen by the wayside because of that. So I don't know what the solution is. I'm not a wrestling promoter. I'm not a booker. So I don't know what the solution to all of this is. But I do think that Tony Khan needs to sit down and be like, what talent are our priority to keep? Make a list. And then figure out which talent you want to put in a developmental system. Not the Billy and Nick Wayne prodigies, because they're, far beyond their years. Like, they're fine where they are. But the wrestlers who are sort of like struggling to gain an identity, and put them in ROH, book it as its own promotion, and watch as they find themselves. The issue is that like so many talent in AW are just cycling and cycling and cycling and never getting their footing or an identity or a sense of who they are as a wrestler because they're constantly asked to do something else. It's like Joey Janela is the best case study. Joey Janela came in. He's this hardcore guy. He's super cool. And then they're like, just kidding, you're actually going to be on Dark. And you're going to be goofy, which I liked. And you're going to wrestle with Sunny Kiss, which I liked. Let me just say that. And then that's going to be done. And then you're just going to be this random guy, Joey Janela. And there's going to be nothing unique or identifying about you. And we're not going to give you any time to do anything. Like, there's cycling talent, rotating talent, and then there's what's going on in AEW. And the promotion is so young. It's only 4 years old, and I get it. I love AEW. I will be a lifelong AEW fan. Don't get me wrong. But like some of the stuff is kind of scary, which is why it's fitting for a Halloween episode.
It is a little spooky, guys.
It's like Tony Khan, like, I don't know. I don't think he's lost his passion, but I think he's lost the relationship he has with fans. Like, I think he's not reading fans like he used to.
Yeah, and I feel like in a way it's kind of like the hardcore fans kind of feel like he owes something to them and they're trying to like take over, you know? I saw somebody compare it. I don't remember who it was. I'm so sorry to whoever said this on Twitter, but somebody compared it to like 2011 Supernatural. When like
I saw that
fans were trying to take over like the show, like, and that was what it reminded them of. And I was like, you know what? That's fair.
There's always going to be hardcores who are annoyed at everything you do and like find because if you don't do it exactly the way they want, if you don't do something exactly the way they want, they're going to say it's bad. Which they're always going to be there. But it's weird that like the casual AW fan, if there is such a thing, the AW fan who's not one of these like weirdo hardcores who just watches AW because they like it. It's weird that they're not getting anything really that they want. And if fans do get something they want, it's almost like an apology in some ways. It's like Tony Khan being like, sorry, I read it wrong. And Tony Khan spends a lot of time on Twitter, which it's his Twitter, I don't care. But is he not seeing what fans are talking about? Like, is he not concerned about the women's division, the tag division, the trios division, the TNT title division, the TBS title division, everything but the world titles? And what about the non-title stuff?
Like most of the time, I feel like it's very constructive too. Like it's not people coming from a bad place, but I feel like sometimes like it's read as like an attack.
Yeah. And I mean, Fernando says Collision was affected by the Punk mess. I do think CM Punk had some negative impact on the way AW was presented just because of the logistics of booking two shows with two different identities with talent that couldn't cross over. And whatever else was going on, I have no idea. But in that situation, Tony Khan has all these businesses, and you're telling me CM Punk is the one who throws a complete wrench in this entire company? Really? No. Tony Khan made a bad business decision, and then it escalated into multiple bad business decisions every week. And now here's where AW is. And I don't think AW is dead. I don't think AW is dying. But I do think that, like, for a while, it felt like, oh, AW was so back. And now it's puzzling.
Yeah.
We got a super chat. My throat hurts.
Let's see. Well, we got one from Pro Wrestling Podcast also.
Shout out.
The best.
Will says, Tony's booking has been weird to me lately, and then bringing in Ric Flair didn't help either. Yeah, I think...
Yes, that's exactly what we said at the top of the show.
Yeah, and I think when AW first started, fans they were so excited, and they had so much goodwill towards Tony Khan, which was actually goodwill towards the elite, if we're being honest, that they were willing to overlook a lot of the weird, bad stuff from early AW. But now we're at a point where it's like, we know it's Tony Khan. And we know that there's better stuff that could be done. and we've gotten to know all of the wrestlers that Tony Khan has showed us on AEW. And it's harder and harder to overlook weird booking decisions. And now we're having so many shows, so many pay-per-views, so many TV specials. There's so much TV to watch. Is it worth my time watching now? It's not, oh my God, I'm so excited for Dynamite, this exclusive show that I can only see once a week. Now it's like AEW has taken I don't want to say they've taken the fun out of it, but it's like I can miss a Dynamite. I can miss a Collision. I can miss a pay-per-view even. And I know that it's not a big deal. There's nothing really that exciting, which is why when people are fighting, I saw people fighting about whether MJF Kenny Omega should be on TV or whether they should have saved that for pay-per-view. It should be on TV. It's stuff like that makes you want to watch TV. That's what makes Collision can't miss, is that match, not anything else that was happening on Collision. But it's like Tony just books so repetitively in a pattern that you know exactly where you are in a story when you pick it back up again. So I don't know. I really don't know. Marie in the chat says the Miro and CJ story is weird. I enjoy it. I like CJ being there, and I like that Miro is doing something. For me, I don't know where Tony Khan's taking it. And so I'm a little bit concerned. But other than that, I enjoy her being there.
I also want to talk about Sunny really quick. Pro Wrestling Podcast said Sunny Kiss got a big pop in TNA. Not sure why that couldn't happen in AEW. Listen, I loved the stuff that Sunny was doing. I mean, you know, on Dynamite, but also like the stuff with Kenny, and I like the Joey stuff too. But I don't know. It felt very like a wasted talent, and it sucks. But I'm so happy for Sunny, and I can't wait to see Sunny thrive in TNA. Yeah, I'm very happy.
Also, TNA being back and being called TNA is really
fucking back. I'm excited about it. I think
I'm really excited about
it too.
I feel like Impact has. People always say, "Oh, Impact is so good. Impact. Why doesn't anybody watch Impact?" But I really do feel like the TNA rebrand will be a new era and breathe some life into.
And it's crazy that all it took was to change the name back for everybody to be like, "Wow, it's back!" Like wrestling.
Well, I feel like the media buzz about it got people to look at, okay, who's wrestling in TNA, like who's there now. What is it like? And they're seeing people they know who are there. Yeah. So I think that they're kind of excited about that. I'm excited about it because I think it's a fresh start. And I think that towards the end, TNA, before it became Impact again, there was a lot of bad stuff going on. And I think that this is a good way to sort of like get back to your roots, but in a positive way. I think enough time has passed. So I'm excited about it. And I think to go back to Sunny Kiss, there's so many weird things like that in AEW where there's talent who fans love and AEW does nothing with them until they bring them back for like a little mini story and then they're gone again. And I don't know. I don't really understand what the logic is in doing that. I don't know like what metrics Tony Khan is looking at when he makes decisions about who gets pushed and who doesn't get pushed. I have no idea. But what I do know is that AEW needs to figure it out. They really do. Especially if they're going to do, 12 pay-per-views a year. Yeah. If you're going to want me to watch a pay-per-view monthly and be invested in every pay-per-view cycle and not feel like these are all B shows leading up to Full Gear or Revolution or Double or Nothing, you got to fix the system. Like, it's a broken system.
I agree.
My throat hurts.
This is really getting in the way. I just can't find a way to sit.
If you guys want to submit a super chat with your final thoughts, Haley and I would do our final thoughts and our plugs, and we'll wrap this Halloween special up.
My head looks like it's floating right now. Like I look like I have zero neck.
because it's like. Kiley, your final thoughts and your plugs.
My final thoughts. I can't wait to get out of this. But also I'm excited to see more of Chelsea and Piper. I feel like that's something that is really keeping me invested in wrestling right now, and I'm excited that it's in NXT. I feel like NXT is really going through like a blossoming period right now, especially for the women. It's really exciting. Yeah, I think that's it.
My final thoughts. Fernando in the chat says, should Adam Copeland win the world championship anytime soon? No. Jason also says, give Kylie her interview. Tony Khan, absolutely. There's no one more qualified to interview Tony Khan than me. That is a fact. Tony Khan, let me interview you. I will get to the bottom of what is happening. Don't worry, guys. I'll do that for Tag Talk. And I know that like we talked a lot about what we don't like about AEW this show. And I just want to say, I do love AEW and I do love tag team wrestling. And it is because I love tag team wrestling that I'm critical of AEW. All the people who call me an AEW shill, or I'm paid by Tony Khan, or all the other things that you say, just know that this is proof that it's not true. And I cannot wait to get this wig off. It is killing me. It is tickling my arms. It's tickling my face. It is so bad. Yeah, that's my final thought. Haley, your plugs.
I literally can't see. My plugs. I think my Twitter username is there, X, whatever. So you guys can follow me on Twitter /X. I'm at HaleyAnn _ HALEYAANNE _. I also write nerdy things for Nerds and Beyond and like wrestling stuff, so you guys can check that out. Though I'm mostly doing like wrestling news these days, so you know. I also have a cookbook. It's called Eating the Indies. It's available on Amazon in Kindle and hardback editions. Yeah, I have a Substack called The Wrestling Muse. It's been a little dead lately, but it's for possibly good reason. Sorry. Yeah, I think that's it. This wig is hurting my head.
So yeah, my head feels like it's my brain all off my body. Like this is so heavy. It's such a workout. You can follow me on Twitter at Kiley Wrestling. I post everything I'm doing there. If I'm on a show, if I'm doing something, it's there. I live tweet stuff. I complain about stuff. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. This is Tag Talk, and this is on Fightful Overbooked. Fightful Overbooked has a lot of really good shows by a lot of really good people, and you guys need to be watching all of these shows. We say it every week, but I feel like Fightful Overbooked is the place for wacko insanity podcasts. And you know what? This is a perfect example of that. So subscribe to Fightful Overbooked. Like this video. Send us your thoughts, your comments. Also, I need you guys to go on Twitter, and I want to know, one, what you're being for Halloween, what your Halloween plans are and all that. And I want pictures of you in costumes. I want to see what you guys are dressing up as, whether it's wrestling or not. I want to see, because I freaking love Halloween. This is my holiday, and I have this costume, and then I'm also with my sister on actual Halloween being characters from Yellow Jackets, if you guys know that show. It's such a good show. So that's what I'm being. So tell me what you're being. Happy Halloween, Maria. I am a Fightful shill, King of the North. Thank you. You don't have to be a parent to do anything for Halloween. I have no children, do not intend on having children. And I celebrate every Halloween. So maybe stop being grumpy. Happy Halloween. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Fightful Overshill. That should be the name of our channel. I'm going to make that my new little bio. I freaking love Fightful Overbooked. I love everybody here. There's been times in my life where I am so sad, and it's the people at Fightful Overbooked and Kate and Sean, but mostly Fightful Overbooked who come in and they make me happy. So I love being here. Thank you guys so much for watching our Halloween special. This has been so much fun. I think it was better than last year's. I love my decorations. I love that my decorations did not fall. And I love that Haley is wearing a muscle suit the entire show.
And I love that Hugh's just like creepily in the background. Being
Gangrel. Yeah. My throat hurts so bad right now, Haley. We got to I talk so much. I don't know what it is. I'm like dying. Can we ban King of the North?
Why? What do you say now?
I'm a child.
True.
I'm not a child. I will remind you that I am a solid 25 years old.
Yeah, she is.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Before we go, I do have to say, I feel like I have to say it because I'm in character, but beware, take care, because the freaks come out at night. Bye, guys.